Welcome to Biblio Madness, a podcast for book lovers where we discuss our current and favorite reads. I'm your host, Laken.
And I'm your host, Rachel. And today we're going to be discussing cozy reads for the winter/holiday season. So we've got Christmas-related books, classic cozy reads, our general recommendations, some oddballs thrown in there, but we're going to go over all of what makes a read cozy and our recommendations to pick up for the holiday season. It is gonna be the 11th when this episode comes out, so you got, I would say, it's like 13 days till Christmas Eve.
Roughly 2 weeks for Christmas.
Roughly 2 weeks for Christmas, but then you get after Christmas, which I still think's New Year's books, and those, it's still cozy reading time.
The winter season.
Until January, we're still reading very cozy reads, and then winter season, when everyone's trying to fight seasonal depression, we're still going to be reading some cozy reads, because that's what makes us happy during this time of year.
This show is intended for mature audiences. Topics of adult content, triggers, and explicit language may be discussed with or without warning. All thoughts and opinions belong to our hosts and do not reflect the original creator's own intentions. Spoilers for the book will be discussed, and while most discussion will revolve around the picked book, we do not guarantee there will be no spoiler warnings for other books or series. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, so to kick it off, we're going to hop in. Do you want to start with classic cozies, or do you want to start with, like...
We can start with the classics. I feel like it's a good place to start. So, one of the ones I know that we both picked out, we
did this without talking to each other, first off.
We did it without talking. We think a little bit alike, apparently, with this, because we picked out two or three books that are the same. But, like, we discussed this before we started recording. This as being, like, the, like, peak comfort cozy book.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Just, I don't know. You can't not, like, feel a comfort
and
coziness when you read The Hobbit, because it's about hobbits.
Like,
that's what the epitome of a hobbit is, like, coziness.
I think we have a lot of high fantasy. We read a lot of high fantasy, high stakes. As much as I want to say The Hobbit's a high-stake fantasy, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously battles and, like, a long adventure that goes on in it, but at the same time, it's not fast-paced. It's not like you're being hit with things like page.
It's not three movies worth.
Yeah. It isn't 3 movies. I love the Hobbit movies, but it definitely wasn't worth.
No.
It's not 3 movies long.
It's not 3 movies long.
It was a little stretched out.
But I will say, it's a benefit that it does have 3 movies in the holiday season, because we're all trapped in our houses if you live in a colder weather area currently. And that means you could read a part of the book and then watch the movie that night. And then read a part of the book and watch the next movie the next day. And then continue on. And then you have 3 movies you're watching for coziness as well as the books. And you get to sit down for the whole thing.
I love watching the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Rings movies as, like, a comfort.
I think it's also very nostalgic.
It is. It goes along with the next book we're going to talk about as well. But, like, every time I've ever read The Hobbit, it's always been a comfort. Yeah. A comfort read. So, comfort to me is also, like, equivalent to coziness. If it brings me, like, a sense of warm, fuzzy comfort, it's a cozy book.
Yeah, if you want to, like, sit down next to a warm fire and read the book, because I feel like...
Eat your snacks while you read The Hobbit, too, man.
You gotta eat second breakfast. It's important. I feel like with The Hobbit, it's just such a cozy, sitting down, getting into a nice, relaxed couch and just reading your book, even if you're outside in the snow and reading. I kind of want to go read The Hobbit. Right? Both of us.
We don't have snow right now.
Yeah.
It does make me want to do that.
Not yet, sadly. I do wish we get snow this year. We don't live in, like, a traditionally warm climate area, but it's been lacking snow until January, February. Which
climate
is
change.
Sad.
Sucks.
But I will say, Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are also cozy reads. Lord of the Rings are a little bit more high stakes.
Yeah.
And I would say that they're higher stakes.
They're also a little bit more of a commitment because it's a series. It's 3 books versus just the one. But I would also say Lord of the Rings goes along with
I do agree with cozy reads should be about, like, a book. It should be able to sit down.
A cozy book is about a standalone for me.
And just read it. We did recommend some series for the series lovers out there. We do have some cozy beginner books that are very
A lot of series,
traditionally
though, like,
cozy.
they might start out cozy, but they don't, like, carry through that way,
Yeah.
because, I don't know, you have to pick up the ball in a series most of the time to make it engaging.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of loses the coziness, but certain series, which I think is the next, you can talk about the next one, because that's your forte.
Yes,
Certain
it is my
series,
forte.
the whole vibe of it just has the, like, coziness.
Cozy read. Which, speaking of, this is Harry Potter was my next recommendation for a cozy read during the winter seasons. One always has Christmas going on in each book because it's done by school year. I would recommend, if you're starting now, awesome. But for future references, starting Harry Potter in, say, October, November, and then continuing to read until February, March time, I think is the perfect time to read the whole series. If you don't have the commitment to read the whole series, Sorcerer's Stone is just a classic. Goblet of Fire is my favorite. If you are wanting like one to pick up, but for the whole story, if you never read Harry Potter before, highly recommend. It's a cozy read. It's as cozy as it comes.
It's such a nostalgic, like, it is a comforting feeling, like, reading it, and even watching the movies. Like, I love watching the movies as, like,
I rewatch them every year. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Caleb's like, "Are you doing your Harry Potter marathon yet?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
We
haven't had it in a while because Ryan gave away our copies.
Oh, I have an extra set.
Oh, well, that's nice.
If you need some.
Sounds like we have some winter plans.
I have a lot of. Also, HBO Max has all of the Harry Potters on them.
That's nice to know.
Max is what it's called now. But
yeah, I saw that.
I highly recommend Harry Potter. I will always recommend Harry Potter, especially for beginner readers. If you're overwhelmed and annoyed by Harry Potter, I understand and I'm sorry in advance. I get it. I do. It's one of those like, oh, you're a Harry Potter millennial. Not a millennial, but I understand. Just like the Disney millennials.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little bit different though. There's a reason. There's a reason this is popular. I feel like to stand true to the books, and even like the original movies is, I don't mind that. Like when people are like over the top about it. It's all the new stuff. It feels like money grabs to me.
Yeah. All right.
That's a different conversation.
Your turn to go next.
So I think the next one we both picked out as well, was Book Lovers.
Yes.
We haven't talked about that one. I thought we did.
We talked about it a little bit when we were talking about Emily Henry's Happy Place, which was not so happy.
That's not a comfort read.
Don't read that book. God, unless you like miscommunication tropes, don't read it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Emily Henry has better books than that.
Yeah, Book Lovers was like an incredibly it was just a warm, fuzzy book. It felt like it was well paced. The chemistry between the characters was great, and you had the small town cozy feeling for it. I'm trying to remember. Did they have a Christmas in it? I feel like they did.
I feel like they did. I feel like she went during Christmas time.
I do feel like they had some kind of Christmas
thing. No, that might be completely off because it's been a hot minute since I read Book Lovers. But so we've talked about fantasy cozy reads. Now we're moving on to more romance cozy reads in a setting. This is setting in a small town cozy read, romance where they're in a bookstore. Yeah. So it's very warm, very you want to cuddle up, you want to have a hot chocolate, you want to go and read it.
It's a quick, easy read too, and it is a standalone book. It's not a series, so
important
it's easy to pick up and not have to feel like a commitment to anything.
No, I highly recommend. Emily Henry does have some really great books. Besides, Happy Place is her bottom tier for me personally.
Everybody I've talked to about this book has also said
that. But book lovers, beach reads, people we meet on vacation. All of those books are very nice one-read pickups. I would consider the other two more summer reads, but Book Lovers is definitely her winter romance book, and it's very good. Along the same terms of romance, Love and Other Words, I would also recommend for a cozy Christmas read. She has not read it, but it's by Christina Lauren. It is a cult favorite on Book Talk. I personally gave it a 3-star. It's a very nice, cozy, one-and-done book. I don't think it's the best romance in the world, but it is a very wintry, cozy book. And it's has a cabin on it, and it's a good romance, cozy read. A lot of people will hate me that I said it's a 3-star book for me, because I know it's very famous for Book Talk.
3-star is a good review, though.
I think it's a good rating, too, because you only got 5 stars to give.
Yeah.
There's not many stars to hand out. It wasn't my top 5 for halfway through the year, because I did read that one this year.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would recommend that one for a cozy read. I'm sad that I read it during the summertime versus the winter.
Yeah. It is sad when you miss when you read a book that's out of season.
Out of season.
I wish I could have read this at a different point.
And I hate to say that I'm a seasonal reader, but I definitely am.
Saving this book for that.
All right. So we went into a little bit of romances. What genre kind of cozy read do we want to hop into next?
Oh, so the last two books I have that I picked out are both kind of fantasy books, which, if you know me, it's mainly all that I read, so it kind of makes sense.
Yes, and it's also winter.
Yeah.
What else do you want to read besides get yourself out of your house?
Fantasy is definitely, something about it feels comforting and cozy. At least, not super high stakes or high paced fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't say Fourth Wing is a cozy read.
No. No, Fourth Wing is a wreck you read, which...
Yeah. But,
rough.
A lot of fantasies, it is more of a cozy feel to it. Because you've got, I don't know, something about the setting and, the tone of the books. With the inns and the taverns and the food. A lot of fantasies talk really heavily about food and, I don't know.
Yeah.
That feels very cozy to me. The wintry season when you're staying in with, warm food. But
I understand. No.
Yeah, so, one of the ones I have here, I don't know if I'll go ahead and touch on this fantasy book.
I have not read this book, so...
This book, I'm going to hold it up for those of you on YouTube to see. And for those of you that can't see it, this is a book written by one of my close friends, actually. It's called Frostlight. So, I guarantee that nobody else here has heard about it, because she's a very small indie author. But this book is, perfect for what we're talking about here. It takes place in winter.
Okay.
It follows a character named Annika, and it's her and her siblings, and they're kind of alone in a cabin in the winter.
Yeah.
And it's very wintry. It's about finding the beauty in the hardship is basically what this book is about. But it's very cozy, very wintry. It was written for someone that struggles with seasonal depression, so it's kind of about bringing the warmth and the comfort and the happiness out of winter. So
I like that.
It is a very comfy, cozy read. I would recommend it.
I was I have not read this book yet because, again, she said it's very small indie read. It's not something I could just go to Books A Million and pick up.
No, this is you have to buy it off Amazon.
Yeah, it's you have to order it.
Yeah. So that's my small, personal, very, very personal recommendation for anybody that really wants something like that. I feel like the book definitely fits the category.
Okay.
Did you have another one? I don't even remember.
I got another one. I put in the photo, those of you who saw my little Bubba Cooper, he was stacked up and he did really good with posing for photos for me. I'm not gonna lie. I took so many photos of him, stacking books on him, putting the books under his face. It was a real fun time. We did really well with him staying still for it, because he was very sleepy and he was he was mad. He was mad at me. He was like, "Mom, why are you moving me?
Just leave me be.
Let me sleep." He's like, "I'm in my pajamas. I'm happy," which you haven't seen the Pajama Boys yet, which I'll have to let them out so you can see them. Aww. They're both wearing pajamas. They don't sell big enough pajamas for my biggest dog, Cosmo, because he's 85 pounds and I can't find them anywhere.
Get him human pajamas.
That's what I said to Caleb. I was like, I'm going to have to buy him a t-shirt and just cut it out so it fits him. But my recommendation, this is the series we've been reading. We're finishing up this month. Crave, I would say, stand alone.
Yeah.
Very cozy book to read.
The first book.
The first book, fast-paced, easy, get you excited for future. If you're snowed in, then you can get the rest of the series. Make your Amazon driver send it to you. But Crave, the first book alone, both of us were awestruck by the coziness. It's taking place in Alaska, so one, snowy vibes.
Very wintry.
It's taking place in a boarding school, so also more cozy. It is a little bit YA. It is not an adult romance or an adult fantasy. It is definitely a YA fantasy. You guys have heard us talk about this, never ending. It won't stop, probably. No, I honestly love the series, so I'm not mad about it by any means. It's another Harry Potter, but instead of them being 11 in the first book, she's 17 turning 18, and the other characters are all 18. So it's a little bit, they're adults, but they're graduating high school, and then they're going into their lives outside of that.
It's a coming of age series, I feel like.
But it's definitely a very cozy book. It has your your fantasy, but in a boarding school aspect in winter.
Yeah.
Cozy things happen. It's just a nice pickup.
It is.
Put down.
I definitely agree.
I think you could read Crave without reading the rest of the series. I think you could do it.
I don't see how you would not want to pick up the second book.
I would highly recommend picking up Crush because Crave was like a 5-star. Crush is 5.5, 6. But it's definitely one that you could just pick up. If you were to pick up a series standalone, it's going to be okay if you do that.
Yeah.
Because things kind of freeze in place at the end of Crave.
They do. And it's in the later books where things get really crazy and intense.
Yeah, and intense. So I don't want to recommend reading just one book of a series, but if you are that person,
if you
then
can
you
do
could do that. That's like A Court of Thorns and Roses, for me, is almost standalone from the other ones.
Yeah, that's definitely standalone from the other ones.
Right? See? This is a thing with series. So A Court of Thorns and Roses also a wintry vibe until you get into it.
I thought about putting Court of Frost and Starlight on this list, but I felt like it was so exclusive to people that have only read the series because you can't really read. It's the third and a half book technically because it's a novella.
Yeah.
So you can't really like pick it up and read it without like knowing
what's going on. Yeah.
But it's definitely a comfy read.
It is a comfy read. A lot of fantasies are, my opinion, comfy reads because as those on YouTube, most of the time you guys can see, my entire 3 top shelves are murder mysteries and high thrillers.
Not really cozy.
Those aren't cozy. I would say like the coziest one up here is the only one left.
Yeah,
but
I could say that.
Stephen King, Holly, God, not cozy at all. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I wouldn't say it's cozy, but it's a good read.
Yeah,
the only one left is
the only one I can think of that's not. It's not a murder mystery. I mean, it is a murder mystery. If We Were Villains is a cozy-ish read.
It's over there.
Yeah, it's the only one in like that genre that I've read that I could really feel like it is. But also like I don't know. It's still not.
It's not as cozy.
It's not as cozy.
Fantasy. When I think cozy, and I think a lot of people agree with the thought of like cozy books are, I want to sit down, I want to just read, I don't want to really be on edge, I kind of want to be engulfed in the world, in the romance, in the coziness of the book.
I feel like the biggest like correlated word that comes to me with cozy is warmth.
Yeah.
Like if I'm picking up a book and it makes me just feel like this warm, satisfied feeling, that's what I'm looking for in a cozy read.
Hot cup of tea, hot cup of hot chocolate or coffee, depending on if you're a caffeine, non-caffeine, or if you're in England, in Europe lands. You just want a warm beverage and you want to sit down and just be engulfed in something. I think the last book you have here is one we both want to read and have not.
This is a cozy hopeful, I guess, for us, because we have not read it, but it is the Legends and Lattes book. And I think there's a sequel to it.
We're very excited about this book. I need to pick it up myself and have it on my shelves because I really want to read this one.
I just got this for me, but sorry, I just like blanked. My mind's been.
She was reading the back of it.
The back of it says, it's a novel of high fantasy and low stakes, and this is not a high adventuring fantasy.
No,
this is a slow, supposedly cozy. That is like the words that have been used to describe
what
this
I know about the book is the main girl was a orc assassin or like warrior who was fighting and retired to open up a cafe.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah.
So she is now running a cafe.
Yeah, and one of the synopsises on the back of it says a big-hearted story about the small things in life.
Yeah,
and it's called wholesome. It's called a comfort read. A break from the epic battles and fantasy. So I'm really, really excited about this. I don't know when I'll be able to pick it up, but I'm hoping sometime in the winterish season because
we don't have a strong TBR now, as in like a strong reading podcast TBR.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. I feel like a little bit in the next episode.
There'll be more changes happening in January.
Yeah,
but
for the new year.
For the new year especially. The other book that I just thought about when you put that one down is the book that we're reading for this Christmas season because we haven't given any Christmas recommendations for cozy books. We have cozy reads for romance, cozy reads for fantasy. There's no cozy sci-fi. If you have a cozy sci-fi, please comment below what that is because I'm very curious.
I feel like it's like another genre that there's not much.
There's not much cozy reads there.
Yeah.
Same with thrillers and dystopians. There's not cozy reads in any of those genres.
No.
So if you can find one, shoot
Let
it
us
out to
know.
us. I'm very curious. I would love to read a cozy sci-fi or cozy murder mystery kind of vibe. Like, maybe everything's so high stakes and everyone's dying. That's not really, like,
I feel like
that
the
cozy to me.
low, like, very baseline murder
Yeah.
mysteries, maybe, like, you know,
Like a
mass
Clue.
market, pick it up randomly, would
Yeah.
be a cozy read.
But the book that came to mind is the one we're reading, Love Light Farms, for a cozy Christmas romance. We are reading it. I've currently have started it. It's very cozy, very farmy.
I've not read it yet. I just got
aspects.
it today.
I just handed her copy today. But it's a cozy book. I would recommend it for a Christmas read. We'll talk more about that on the 25th. That episode about that book will release. But if you want to read it before that does, you got some time. And then the other one, we were just looking on Amazon. We saw, what was it called? A Murder Christmas? Was that
Murder at Christmas or Murder?
I was looking on Amazon for other book recs for Christmas because we both aren't high Christmas readers.
I feel like we both agreed with this, that, like, the Christmas, like, books are a little, like, very Hallmarky, which...
Very cheesy.
Yeah, a little too cheesy for us
Yeah.
to really enjoy, so we were really selective. You were really selective with this.
Yes.
The reading for Christmas. Maybe it's out there and it's your cup of tea, but I don't know.
It's hard to find. It's all Christmas Hallmark romances.
Love
Light
really
Farms kind of fits in that, and I didn't want to bog down the entire month of us just reading Christmas books, which you could pick up literally. It's like mass market reading.
And for those people that, like, we might have listeners, because I know we have listeners in a lot of countries that don't even celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to bog it down. It just feels
cozy
like
reads
a lot.
are better.
But for a Christmas recommendation, I saw this one, and I actually might order it because it has 4 stars with over 1,300 reviews on Amazon.
That's nice.
It's The Murder for Christmas by Frances Duncan, is I think how we decided to pronounce their last name. It's a mystery. It is a British holiday murder mystery. I feel like it would be very fun. You can order it on Amazon. The author seems to be a little bit more indie, it's what I can tell. They do have some other books that came out, like Murder Has a Motive, which is about a train. But I feel like for a Christmas read, if you're looking for a cozy murder mystery, if you're into murder mysteries, that might be a good one to pick up. I personally have not read it. I'm probably going to order it because I feel like it would be a fun book to read on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's one that we'll talk about on the podcast much. It'll probably be something I read on my personal TBR. But for those who are looking for Christmas books, I at least wanted to recommend at least 2 to pick up. Love Light Farms, and who's the author of Love Light Farms? I'm forgetting. I think it's something with an F or an A.
I have it right here.
She's got the copy. My other copy's all the way on the bookshelf. What is it?
It is B.K. Borison.
B.K. Borison? Okay. Yes, you can pick this up at Target, so it's an easier... Love Light Farms is much easier to find just in person. Pick up at a farm. It is very much so the Hallmark romance, I feel like.
Oh, no. I really hope... Hopefully this is good. The first line of it just scared me after Happy Place.
What?
For the fake dating.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I have better hopes for this.
I will say this book gives some Netflix movie vibes if you've seen the ones with the girl from Vampire Diaries in it. I'm trying to remember the names. Some of you might know what it's called. It's like Holiday or something like that. It's a cute book. It gives vibes like that. So I'm curious to see what Laken's going to think about it. But I think that's all of our cozy book recommendations. I think the only other one left, actually, I just thought of one more that I did take a picture of in that book. If He Had Been With You. Been With Me. If He Had Been With Me.
Oh,
it is a sad, cozy book. If
That's
you are
not
wanting to cry and holiday season makes you sad and you want to have that feeling of someone else being sad with you, which been there, I understand. That is a very good, sad, cozy
That book
read.
has been on my personal TBR for like years.
Yes.
I'm waiting for like the right moment that I need to read it.
It is, if your holiday season, I understand, is not fantastic for everybody. Mm-hmm. Family drama, no family.
Family
deaths, situational things, like not, like holiday season brings up like, oh, we don't have enough money for this or that, or we don't have enough food, or like it's, as much as it is a joyful time, it is also a sad time.
Yeah.
For a lot, and I want to recommend something for those who are like, I want to be sad and I want to be okay with being sad.
Yeah.
Which I think is an important thing for humans to understand, is it's okay to be sad.
Yes.
So If He Had Been With Me is a very sad but cozy read, in my opinion. And I think that was my last rec.
We kind of have recs for a little bit of,
All of
hopefully,
them.
a little bit for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
we have fantasy, romance. We even threw out a couple murder mysteries. A sad, slow book. Christmas.
Some
I
indie
feel like
books.
We have a good little mix here for our recommendations.
We'll also make sure to list everything in the description for YouTube. Spotify, it has a little bit harder of a description. I'll list the names of the books and the authors, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to link it for the podcast platforms. But I'll make sure to link everything in the description below. Maybe we should start an Amazon storefront so people can easily purchase books.
That would be a good idea.
I'm
gonna make a note.
We'll work on that. See if we can get that going, so you guys can just hit that, so you can start reading books. We have the recommendations we're making.
A lot of hopefully little exciting. We're not doing really big, but little exciting changes.
Yeah.
2024.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. Coming on any platform that you are on. Laken, do you have anything else before I close out?
Not just check on Instagram. That's where we mainly keep up with our updates and our posts and what we're doing next. And everything. So if you're not following us on there, pop over there, give us a follow, and then, we'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you get notified on our episodes. Most of our episodes go up on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Always cross my fingers on that it goes up. I will say, legitimately, we plan on 10 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes they go up at 12. I don't know how to fix this issue. I'm working with YouTube on it. The Spotify podcast goes up at 10. That's what I got. Those podcast platforms get it first.
Yes,
so if you want to listen, you can get it. YouTube has a lot more checks. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day and a happy holiday season to you. Farewell.